Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got the lowdown on last night's AEW Dynamite, the Dynamite after All In. Also on today's episode, we've got some news for you, including Mercedes Mone talking about shooting on, if you will, her big match at All In against Britt Baker. And also, we've got the date now for the release of the Vince McMahon Netflix documentary, sure to be a controversial one given the last 24 months of Vince McMahon's life, for sure. Larson, what is the latest on that?
So Netflix announced today that the Vince McMahon documentary, 6-part documentary series titled Mr. McMahon, will be released on September 25th. The press release from Netflix says the following, quote, Mr. McMahon chronicles the rise and fall of Vince McMahon, controversial businessman and co-founder of WWE, from his transformation of the WWE from a small regional business into a global entertainment powerhouse to the explosive sexual misconduct allegations that led to his eventual resignation. This 6-episode series offers a deep dive into McMahon's life and his enduring franchise, culled from over 200 hours of interviews with McMahon himself prior to his resignation, his family members, business associates, and some of the most iconic names in wrestling history, as well as the journalists who uncovered McMahon's allegations, filmmaker Chris Smith, Tiger King, and executive producer Bill Simmons. Present an unflinching, no-holds-barred look at one of the most enigmatic figures in sports entertainment.
Well, I guess this has been a long time coming. And
October 2020 was when it was announced.
Wow. And obviously
nearly 4 years.
A ton has happened in the life of Vince McMahon since then. So no doubt a lot of reconfiguring had to go down here. And I'm kind of curious, hopefully Bill Simmons, his basketball book is still one of my favorite reads. It really is a terrific book.
Well, he did the Andre the Giant, or he produced, or was involved in the Andre the Giant.
Right, yeah.
Documentary, which was solid.
It'd be interesting to hear from his perspective what changes, like specifically the production had to go through and how they, adapted to the very, still to right now, ongoing thing. We have no idea if Vince McMahon is going to be in prison a year from now, if he's going to, what the deal with it. I know there was a report recently about his health not being, terribly great.
Well, that's what Linda said, but then according to Vince's lawyer, he's fine. So,
yeah, exactly. It's like who are you going to believe there? So yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to know even the backstory of this documentary series.
Yeah, it would be, and as described here, an unflinching portrait of Vince, and you like to hope, especially all that's happened the last couple of years, that that's an accurate description.
That's the best point. I see Heather here in our chat saying, I'm not watching that. I'm not convinced there won't be a ton of spin on it, which is a great point. Mm-hmm. I find it difficult to believe that it would be, in line with, for example, the Ruthless Aggression era documentary WWE did, where the entire thing seemed like it was just all revisionist history. Yeah. But I also have a hard time believing this is going to be, the truth and nothing but the truth,
Yeah, exactly. So it remains to be seen. We'll watch it. We'll do reviews on it, I'm sure. It's going to be topic of conversation starting end of September for 6 weeks thereafter, I feel like.
So just really quick, Brandon Thurston did tweet out about a half hour ago, neither Janelle Grant nor her representatives were interviewed for the Mr. McMahon Netflix documentary. A spokesperson for Grant tells WrestleNomics.
All right.
So, I mean, it's kind of an important voice, the person whose lawsuit led to his downfall. Mm-hmm. Probably has a lot to say about the guy, and he wasn't interviewed. So, some of this, I'm going to go in it understanding that there's the potential to take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt. And it's just going to be interesting. I have no doubt that there's going to be a lot of stuff about his childhood and, him growing up that maybe we hadn't heard before. And it should be, if nothing else, at the very least, you'd like to think that it's going to be an interesting watch and not just a whole big pile of bullshit,
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about All In. A lot of good matches at All In. One of the matches that was a bit more maligned was Mercedes Mone's match against Britt Baker. And so, in the latest edition of Monet Mag, like her newsletter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What?
6 out of 10 on the title for that newsletter. I feel like
Give me a better
been...
one.
Oh, wow. Oh shit, on the spot. All right,
Monet
fine.
Talk.
I'm gonna be the. Yeah, that's an 8 out of 10. That's like an obvious one. Maybe you get knocked off too because it is kind of obvious. But yeah. Monet Talk.
Yeah.
Monet Mag.
Or Monet Talks.
Yeah. Well,
like Money Talks.
It's a thumbnail. I got Monet Talks.
Anyways, Mercedes Mone discussed the tepid reaction to her match against Britt Baker at All In this week. She had to say, quote, "I've heard a lot of mixed reactions to my All In match with Britt. I had a really good time out there with her. I did sense some audience fatigue. It's only natural being third to last, as the crowd had already seen over 10 matches before ours. They arrived at 5:30. By the time we came out, it was around 9. That's a long time, but at the same time amazing because AEW really gave them their money's worth. I could hear some DMD and CEO chants, but again, it's harder in a stadium. Britt told me later that on video you could hear the crowd reactions much better, and that there were more crowd reactions than we felt. Is there anything I would have done differently? There is, honestly, a lot. But I don't ever want to go too deep into what ifs about my match, or life for that matter. I'll just say that I learned a lot from the match. Can only grow by continuing to try new things. I maybe would have listened to my instincts more. I feel I did things that maybe were not necessarily required for that match, things I could have saved for another time. But again, little sense in looking too far back other than we can learn and what we can learn and use moving forward. One thing is for sure, I can't wait to do it all again next year in Texas."
Yeah, I mean, again, not trying to pile on or anything. Britt was cooked on Twitter, just absolutely blasted. And to be honest with you, I feel kind of bad for her because it's a wrestling match. And honestly, like, we see one thing, and we've talked about how her disposition, even in the build, sort of came off a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, I like Britt well enough. I had no preconceived notions about her. You hear about all the stuff all the rumors and stuff backstage and stuff with her and Thunder Rosa and the sandbagging stuff. And it's like, man, we never dove too much into that because it's a bunch of rumors backstage, and I don't, know what's real or what's fake or what's true or what's not. There did seem to be something, but again, she's been through a lot over the past year or so. I mean, she dropped that stuff in her promo. I have no doubt that, the meat of it is probably true. And who knows if that, just what she's been through, has affected her in terms of what, being in the ring, going overseas for that match. You like to think the best in people and that she wasn't intentionally sandbagging.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. You'll watch that match and you come to your own conclusion, I guess.
Yeah. Performers, even ones that are exceptionally experienced and are really good at their craft have off nights. People have off nights. People have off days, and it happens. And it's unfortunate if this was the case that it happened in front of, the largest AEW crowd of the year.
If there's one thing you can take away from this Monet comment, it's they talked after the match.
Yeah.
Like she said, Britt said, the reaction was much better on video than it was, live. So they talked afterwards.
So it wasn't like they went to their own locker rooms and didn't speak at all. Yeah. Or, and Mercedes is very diplomatic and measured in terms of how she writes about the match.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Not a lot of specifics, not casting any blame on anybody. It's just, hey, if anything, she's like, it's a little too ambitious is how she kind of frames it.
Yeah, I guess so. It's very cryptic. I mean, let's be honest. It's not exactly shoots from the hip, shoots hard, it's just, she didn't say, this B was sandbagging me. She didn't say any of that.
Yeah.
She says, I sense some audience fatigue. Is there anything I would have done differently? There is a lot, but I don't ever want to go too deep into that. I learned a lot from the match, and I can only grow by continuing to try new things. I maybe would have listened to my instincts more. I feel I did things maybe were not necessarily required for that match. Yeah, I don't know what any of that means, to be honest with you. It is very diplomatic, though. Even if this is like a coy way of like slamming Britt, it didn't really come off that way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You know, or maybe she's just being above it all. I don't know. You know. So this is one of those things where I have no idea what happened in this match. Wasn't terribly good, but I guess we'll just continue to see. You know, Britt wasn't on. I don't think she wasn't on Dynamite last night.
No.
Maybe she'll be on Rampage, or she'll be a Collision Cowboy. I don't know. They'll do the thing where, hey, Mercedes will be on one show and Britt will be on another show. That worked before, right?
Not really.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Tony Khan was saying, oh, yeah, the people we had to deal with last year.
Yeah, I know. It's so much easier managing Collision now than it was a year ago.
Yeah, hey, put some respect on the real world champion, Tony Khan. Now it's Drew McIntyre. That's right, because he actually beat CM Punk. So.
Yeah, lineal, real world champion, Drew McIntyre.
The lineal. Yeah, I love that
lineal.
word.
All right, before let's talk a couple things about Dynamite, because we had some returns, we had some story beats, we had some story progression. Really, there was only one match. I was like, whatever. That was
Jericho match.
Yeah, it was the All-Star Tag match. Like now, that's like a regular thing. Dynamite after the start of the second hour, they have this huge tag match that's, well executed, but it kind of just feels like filler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Anyways, Jon Moxley returned, first appearance since Forbidden Door, I think.
This has got to be the big. Yeah, it is first appearance since Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
This has got to be the big thing. Shane's going to be there, right? That's what this is.
What, a Grand Slam?
No, I don't know. Shane McMahon's going to be in the company. He said this is no longer your company. It's going to be Shane McMahon.
They can do an angle where Shane has bought the company from Tony Khan or something? That doesn't make any sense.
Kind of assume so.
So I didn't necessarily take so what happened is Mox basically comes out at the beginning of the show interrupting commentary. Commentary is like, hey, we were supposed to have a match open the show, but instead Mox comes out. And Shivani gets up from commentary to goes and interviews him. And at first, Mox calls out Darby Allin, so we need to have a conversation. He's about to leave, comes back and gets Tony, starts pointing at his chest and says, this is something that's going to be hard for people to wrap their head around, but it's time to get started. This company doesn't belong to you anymore. Of course, Tony Schiavone, interviewer. As far as I know, he has no actual financial stake in the company AEW.
Right.
So I didn't necessarily take that as, hey, someone bought the company from Tony Khan. I took it as, whatever ideas you had about what AEW was, as embodied by Tony Schiavone, since he was there on day one. That's out the window. This isn't your company anymore. It's going to be my company, my new vision for AEW. That's how I took it more than anything else.
You took it as it doesn't belong to Tony Schiavone, which it did previously. Now it's going to belong to Jon Moxley.
Never belonged to Tony Schiavone. I just said he has no financial stake that I'm aware of in the company.
Maybe Jon Moxley did not get his contact lens prescription fixed. He heard Tony, thought it was Tony Khan. Slight resemblance if you blur your eyes.
I don't know, but the voices sound nothing alike.
Nothing about them is alike.
No.
Look, to me, this thing, it felt as intriguingly awkward as Scott Hall showing up and saying, "You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here." Yeah. It felt like that. I feel like they were trying to do that thing. And I personally do think that Shivani might be representative of. I think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna. This is gonna be a Shane invasion type thing. I kind of feel like that's.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't think it's be a situation where Shane has somehow bought the company from underneath Tony Khan. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's gonna be quite that literal, but I don't know. They might try to tie it in with this Max the WBD deal. Part of it is. Now I own half of this shit. I don't know. It's wrestling. Cheesy shit like that happens.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would Shane O'Mac be showing up in, the idea is he's a McMahon. He's a big rich guy. He ain't going to wrestle, But I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe Mox is staging some sort of takeover. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe he's staging some sort of takeover and Shane's his money guy or something like that. And it's simply like, he's the DiBiase that was of the NWO, apparently the money guy or whatever. I don't know. It felt like that kind of NWO type thing.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
And
they're starting to open the door to something. Now you want to see what's past the door.
And you got 27 writers in there pitching ideas to Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think it's hilarious that Tony Khan has finally 5 years later realized that the WWE way of writing wrestling is probably the successful way. It's the way you get your money from WBD. Have 27 writers in there just pitching a bunch of shit to you. I mean, that's kind of what he's learning now.
Seemingly.
Whether you like the final outcome of it or not, seems to be the lesson he's learned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, this kind of feels like it's maybe an opening for Shane McMahon. That's sort of what I'm getting.
Yeah, that was
here.
kind of the discourse going on afterwards on social media.
And then of course they wonk up the moment by like Mox leaves and the camera awkwardly like zooms in on this guy in a CM Punk shirt and a cowboy hat.
Yeah,
and I'm like, who's that guy?
Yeah, is that tease? Is Phil coming back?
Phil's coming back, or this cowboy Phil?
Phil bought the company.
Phil bought the company. He's making money hand. His buckets are filled.
Probably. Yeah, his merch bucket's over full, I would think.
Super filled.
Filled.
Yeah, what am I doing with this thumbnail? I got Jack Perry in the thumbnail. Everybody hates that guy. I got to put Shane McMahon in the thumbnail.
Well, let's talk about Jack Perry, because it's seemingly based on, again, social media discourse, which I'm sure is a 100% accurate representation of wrestling opinion writ large.
Bro, don't try to act like people like Jack Perry. It's just you and me, dude. It's just you and me.
I think there's other people that like Jack Perry fine.
No.
I was being sarcastic about it. Anyway,
Tony Khan probably does.
Jack Perry answered Bryan Danielson's open challenge for the match at All Out and then attacked him. He wants that AEW title. He said AEW's future is the same as his future.
Oh yeah,
Jack Perry. They're intertwined. If he's successful, AEW's successful. A lot of people dumped on the idea that Jack Perry should be getting a title shot against Bryan Danielson. They're like, oh, Bryan Danielson only has a handful of matches left as a full-time wrestler, and you're having him wrestle Jack Perry? Here's the thing. People are welcome to have their opinions, but this is from my perspective. Jack Perry's a good wrestler. I think he's doing interesting creative stuff. And to see... and who maybe it's the situation where Bryan Danielson's like, yeah, I want to face these wrestlers before I retire, or step away from full-time wrestling. And if Bryan Danielson's like, I want to face Christian, I want to face Jack Perry and Darby Allin before I step away, I'm not going to tell him no. He's earned that right.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with Bryan Danielson. I love Jack Perry. I don't give a fuck what people say. Even though, according to this snap poll I just made, hey, you know what? Snap poll's not that bad. 50. So, I mean, this is, sometimes reflective of the hosts. 38 votes in on YouTube. Wait, we got 380 people watching. Why is there only 38 votes? 38 votes on YouTube. It's almost at 50-50. It's 55 to 45. The nays have it right now, but maybe with a higher sample size. I think that our audience might be an outlier, though, I'll be honest with you. Just the general vibe I get is just not cool with Jack Perry. I do like what he's doing. I really do. I like that new TNT title. It's got blood on it. It's red paint still. It looks like blood. I like that. I think that if you look at what he was doing as Jungle Boy, there was no character there. And if you look at this, it's like, hey, that's, he's got, I kind of see the presence now. But yeah, I don't know. Other people don't like the guy. 71 votes in. It's, oh my God, the Yays have it now.
There we go.
Wow. Going in Raw fans. Huge on. Hey, Bree, do you know how to do a poll on Twitch? Can we get a poll going on Twitch as well? I'm kind of curious if this is one of those YouTube versus Twitch situations.
Oh, that could be. You'd think, hey, they're all friendos. The opinion be consistent across platforms. That's not the case.
No way,
Not necessarily the case.
No way.
So yeah, I'm excited. They got the Jack Perry at All Out, Darby at Grand Slam, and then at some point Christian. It's not a bad lineup, I don't think, for Danielson's kind of retirement tour.
So we've got All Out, which is kind of like a fallout to All In show these days.
The card looks really solid, though.
You got that. Well, I'm just thinking of Danielson right now.
Yeah.
You got that, because All In's the big deal. And then you got Grand Slam. When's that? September?
Yeah, September.
All right,
Darby gets the title shot
the
there.
Dynamite episode. And then Christian won that thing, so he can cash in any time. So he'll.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to be the match at Wrestle Dream, but I could be wrong.
I kind of feel like Christian's going to be cashing in opportunistically, so he'll be on the heels of another match.
Could be.
So, yeah, it's not like they're loading up every pay-per-view coming up with mid-carders. You would think that, I don't know, maybe, Mox has been gone for a couple months. Maybe Danielson will drop the title to Mox in his new Shane World Order. Maybe that'll be the deal. I kind of doubt that, but maybe, that's heat right there. Mox retiring Danielson. Oh my gosh.
What was the topic for your YouTube poll? I can get one up on Twitch.
Jack Perry, yay or nay? Very simple. We got 100 votes in. It's a heat, man. It's 51-49. The yays have it 52-48. With 100 votes in, 52-48. Wow. Interesting.
We'll do 2 minutes on this to see if this works.
It's all good, Bree. I'm looking at it right now too. I can't. Yeah,
I got it.
You do the slash poll thing, I think.
Yeah, I did that. That's what I did. That's
good job, Larson. So yeah, I don't know. I think Jack Perry is fine. This isn't this is me not paying attention. Title for title, this isn't title for title, is it?
No.
Do we know anything about it yet? We know that he just sat there and he held up both titles, right?
Yeah, I think that's like him saying, "I want to win both titles."
Okay,
I want to have both titles. I don't think it's title for title though.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Danielson walking around with 2 titles. You're like, God damn, I'm trying to retire.
I know.
That was like the bulk of his speech last night. It was like, so yeah, that's his thing. I guess if he loses the title, that's he's done as a full-time guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So power rank really quick, Larson. Who's going to take that title off of Bryan Danielson? You got to throw the Mox Shane World Order thing in there. Maybe
Mox,
number 5. Let's do 5.
No particular order. I'm just going to throw some names out. Mox.
Throw some names. Yeah.
Swerve.
Hangman.
Okada.
Mm.
And
Mox, Swerve, Hangman. I think those are 3 good names. Darby's a possibility.
Yeah, Darby is a possibility. Like if Darby gets his match at Grand Slam, or when Darby gets his match at Grand Slam and Christian cashes in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Danielson wins, but Darby's like, I didn't get my title up. I didn't get my one-on-one title shot.
Right, yeah.
And then they do it again at Wrestle Dream, and Darby wins it there.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a distinct possibility.
Oh, Ospreay. You got to put Ospreay on that list.
Yeah, you could put Ospreay in there too, yeah. Speaking of Ospreay, he did come out to confront Ricochet after his debut AEW match against singles match against Kyle Fletcher. And instead of being able to really have a proper confrontation with him, Pac surprised him with a Poison Rana on the stage.
That was crazy.
Really shocking moment there.
It really was shocking. It really was.
And Pac dropped a great promo on Ricochet welcoming him to AEW, but he said, "This one belongs to me, the bastard." And then Ricochet walks up the ramp and cuddles with Ospreay.
Checks on Will
and
like talks some crap over his shoulder down the heel.
And then Will's like, "Oi, bruv, why you bolt?" So what do you think of Ricochet's first match there in AEW?
It was good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean,
oh, come on. You got something on your mind. Larson. You can say it, because I'm thinking the same thing, but I want you to say it. You be the bad guy, Larson. You be the bad guy. I got you. You know I'm right. Come on, say it.
You looked a little blown up.
That is not what I was going to say.
Oh, what were you going to say?
I was going to say it didn't really come off like that much different than a WWE match.
No, but by the time of the end of the match, he looked like he was really, really tired. He hadn't wrestled in months. I get it. I was there watching the whole time.
Steven Larson, both a 2-star debut for Ricochet. Say Steven Larson.
He looked a little blown up.
Jorge says it was exactly like his WWE.
Yeah, there was really nothing different. Now, if we get him versus Commander, I'm kind of surprised they didn't have him there against another high flyer. And let
Kyle Fletcher's a really good wrestler.
He is a really good wrestler, but he's not going to be doing 450s and stuff like that.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you think that's going to be... I know Ricochet's like a high flyer, but he's also like a move guy.
No,
he is. More like in the...
He's a speed guy, not the speed championship. He's not in WWE anymore, but he's a really fast wrestler, yeah.
He was... hold on a second. Now, this is the thing. This is the thing, and this is a hard. What did Nathan Frazier's show used to be? Hard hitting home truths.
Something like that, yeah.
King Yoshigo here in chat, in the Twitch chat, says the typical "finally I got the handcuffs off" deal that ends up not being much different than what they were doing before. Here's the thing about Ricochet. There are people in the company. I can think of an entire trios faction, whatever you want to call it, of guys who do Ricochet better than Ricochet.
Ooh.
And it's the Top Flight guys and Lio Rush.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think that Ricochet is going to be one of the guys like Ospreay who's able to tell the really, really good stories that transcend the move stuff.
Yeah. And we saw that. We didn't see a whole lot of it in WWE because it didn't.
Right, yeah.
Saw some of that in NXT. We saw that in PWG. That match he had against Lio Rush in PWG when we were there was exceptional.
Yeah,
because the story involved.
You're right. But the standout guy in that match was Lio Rush, because that guy is like, that dude defies physics. It's crazy.
He's great. He had the underdog role in that too.
He did, yeah.
It's a better role.
That being said, I do think that when we get Ricochet versus Ospreay, Ricochet versus, and I'm sure he'll do crazy shit. You put him in there with hologram, and I'm sure there's gonna be a couple spots that end up on Twitter that's like, oh my god, this is so good. The one thing that I really hope AEW lets Ricochet do that WWE just really seemed like they couldn't figure out is to give the guy a character.
Yeah.
And like the video thing that I saw on social, I don't even know if it made it to Dynamite, but
it was on the show.
It was on the show. Okay.
Yeah.
I did actually watch Dynamite, by the way. But is to give the guy, Ospreay, such a wonderful character. That guy connects with the crowd.
Yeah.
Ricochet's going to need more than the really good matches because guess what? Everybody does good matches there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's got to get the character thing down the way Ospreay got his character stuff down. It's just Ospreay has a big head start on the guy. But I'm hoping for the best. I really am. But it's kind of like, Nick Nemeth. It's like, oh, man, finally, we get to see this guy outside WWE. Well,
that's the same thing. Yeah.
Maybe there's not a whole lot of
maybe the reason that his match looked like a WWE match is because he's used to working the WWE pace. And he had to work like old Ricochet pace. He's like, man.
Yeah. How old is he? Like 30? He's like in his mid-30s now, isn't he?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. Because there's a bunch of, like, Kyle Fletcher's, like, he can work that pace because he's like 20-something.
I know.
And when you get older, I think Ricochet, I think there's the chance that he's going to end up like a Rey Mysterio to a degree. Rey Mysterio is iconic, and I don't think Ricochet is going to be that necessarily. But in terms of what Rey Mysterio can still do in the ring at that age, I think Ricochet is going to be there probably. If he does the big storytelling matches, then I think people will be really, really into it. But you need to get a character. That's another thing Tony Khan has learned is like, it is about the characters and it's about the stories, and that's how you get success.
It is. Anyways, before we get to the segment by segment breakdown, Steve, you want to pay some bills?
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Got carried away here.
This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp, Steve. I used to be a pretty curious child, type of kid who would sit, study maps, and look through atlases and memorize state capitals. But somewhere along the way to adulthood, I kind of lost that curiosity.
Me too, man. I used to be big into presidents. I never wanted to be a president, thank God. But boy, the skeletons in my closet, that would just absolutely torpedo them. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Somewhere along the way to adulthood, Larson, I lost that kind of curiosity. But I see it with my kids every day. Kids are constantly learning and growing, but maybe it's due to everything we have to concern ourselves with as adults. But I've found that sense of curiosity certainly isn't what it used to be for me. But therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
I've talked about it here on the show, but back when I was in my mid-20s, my life was basically taken over by severe anxiety, and I had definitely lost any sense of wonder or curiosity. Eventually, I realized that I had to go to therapy. Therapy helped me learn the skills I needed to better cope with my anxiety and got my life back on track and put me on the path to hopefully becoming a better Larson. So rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Raw.
Let's see here. What else happened on Dynamite last night?
Oh,
dude, we got Hangman versus Swerve coming up in a steel cage. Oh,
that's going to be phenomenal.
Man. So, wait, what's going on in All Out so far? We got Danielson, Perry, we got the steel cage.
What else? Let's pull up the card. MJF and Garcia.
Oh, yeah, Garcia. Pac. Garcia was there last night. What did you think of his promo?
Well, I thought it was solid, man.
Yeah, same. I'm glad that he didn't dance at all. You think they're getting ring of the dancing thing? Between now and October when his contract comes up?
I think they've gotten rid of it for the time being.
Yeah.
Willow versus Statlander, Chicago street fight.
So that's good. I'm glad they made a whole giant feud out of that thing. That's cool. Yeah. That's going to be on the main card, the Willow versus Statlander.
Well, so far, there's only 5 matches announced so far.
Oh, wow. Like one of the WWE shows. Cool.
Yeah.
Keep it that way.
Something tells me they'll be doubling up the number of matches. That's just how they do it.
You're probably right. But
the card right now is looking good. Of course, Swerve versus Hangman. It's going to be awesome.
That's going to be awesome.
I like Swerve's kind of thesis was, Adam Page, you should go home and be a family man because you're not cut out for this.
Yeah, he says you're more worried about me than success.
And the more you worry about me, the more I succeed, and the more you fail.
Yeah. And then Hangman had no retort for that. Who do you see winning this match?
Stormed off. I know he stormed off. It depends on the rules of this particular cage match. If you can win by escaping, I can see Hangman winning this.
Oh, wow. Do they do that in AEW? I don't think you do that. They don't do the escape thing in AEW.
I don't think so.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
If it's just straight up got to pin the guy in the middle of the cage, what is it? Fox here in Twitch chat says, I can see Hangman cheating this time. Hangman's thesis is you can't get it done clean.
Maybe Hangman has Mox help him. Joins forces
Hangman,
with Mox.
Mox, Darby, and the Shane World Order.
I mean, Hangman can't cheat. It's a cage match. There's no rules.
Well, okay, no. He can, yeah. It's still, I'm sorry, a dishonorable win. You know?
Yeah.
Not doing it by himself. His whole thing is you can't get it done without help. You can't beat me. So maybe is he going to take a page from that and say, oh, yeah, like he can't beat me with that, or he can't beat me without that. So I'm going to beat him. I got to beat him this time. So I'm going to use some help. That could be.
I mean, if Page loses this, what is 3
It'd
losses
be 4.
to Swerve? 4?
I think that's 4. Yeah. I think Swerve mentioned it was 3. Because, Hangman said there was 3. Prince Nana, and
the other one was 30-minute time limit draw, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. And time ran out.
Yeah, so I guess no one won that match. So it'd be 2-0-1 against 0-2-1 against Swerve.
You would think this has got to be Hangman, and they just keep going. Because that's the other thing, too, is that if Swerve wins this feud's over. They want this feud to keep on going, I think.
Yeah.
It gives them both something pretty interesting to do. So yeah, that's gonna be an absolutely killer match. That's gonna be a bloodbath too.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna reach the levels of that Texas match where he's like bleeding,
Hangman drinking Swerve's blood.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think that's gonna be probably like a match of the year contender.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, we got some super chats here I wanted to mention and some channel memberships. Jack Marius gifted a membership to Burr Winning. Thank you very much, Jack Marius. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack Marius.
HDMS Kingslayer here has been a member for 6 months. Says thanks for all the great content, guys. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Joel Hartman here, member for 16 months now. Says, I am with Brett the Hitman Horse, Jack Perry. Nay. Oh.
I don't know if Brett Hitman Horse has ever stated his opinion on Jack Perry.
Yeah, we'll have to. So you're saying we want to call him in and find out?
Not at all. I'm not really that interested.
Sounds like you're
saying
curious.
We haven't heard it before,
and you'd like to.
Nope.
NPR, not to be confused with National Public Radio, says if TK had Vince's brain, oh my God, what a nightmare scenario that is. It's like Reanimator. He'd book Bryan to job to Perry and make him do the cry face. I don't know, man. Vince is. And then Richard here says, with a $5 super chat, says, how long will Edge be out once Christian will win for Edge to beat him for the title? Oh, I don't see Christian winning that thing.
No.
I don't see that happening.
No, I don't see it happening either. I don't know how long Edge is out, though. When did he break his ankle? That was Double or Nothing?
Sounds right. Yeah, it sounds right.
This will be 3 months ago. It could be relatively soon. He could be back this fall.
You think so?
Depending on how significant the break was.
Yeah, man.
He did have surgery, so I guess he's out for a while.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it's Double or Nothing. So maybe another month or two.
People are asking for this. Sorry, I should have mentioned this at the head of the show. NXT review is coming at the end of this episode, so just stay tuned. Sorry, I know we didn't do it last week. I know there's like a couple of you out there who are just diehard going in Raw NXT review guys, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
It is showing up at the end of the show. I should have mentioned
the go home. Yeah, this week is the go home for No Mercy. It's just a major show. It's a premium live event, so
No Mercy.
Get a breakdown. I don't think we're going to get in terribly deep detail into anything, but we'll talk.
No, we're not. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Dynamite, man. The actual recap here. Jon Moxley first shows up. Like you said, it's been since Forbidden Door, so he's had a nice, fat 2-month vacation. Larson, this is like his story going back a couple of years now. Remember, he was supposed to get that vacation? The fishing trip, yeah. He got 2 of them. And 2 months of them, rather. Anyways, so he comes down. Tony's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I haven't been doing a lot of talking lately. I've been doing a lot of thinking about some things I need to get done. I came here tonight looking for a man who's not here to have a conversation. You notice he leaned into the con aspect of it. He said conversation. I'm like, oh, Tony Khan. He says, this man is nothing like me, but he's everything like me, so this conversation's long overdue. But he's talking about Darby Allin.
Yeah.
He says, about time you and I had a talk. And trust me, I'm not going to be hard to find. So he's about to leave, and Tony's like, all right, well, there he is, Jon Moxley. Everybody, we got a great show coming up tonight. And then he comes back, and he's like, it's going to take some time for everybody to wrap their brains around this, but we're going to start right now. This is not your company anymore. He's poking Tony Khan in the chest, and Tony's like, I don't
Tony
know
Schiavone. Tony Schiavone, not Tony Khan.
Tony Schiavone's like, the fuck? Very confused.
Yeah, I think he tried to replicate the what the fuck meme after.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then the camera zooms in on CM Punk fan with cowboy hat.
Yeah, and then just tracks right by. After that, we get a interview with the conglomeration and Hook. Renee's like, y'all got matches tonight. Willow's there too. Sorry. And Mark Briscoe says how they're all busy. Ishii's gonna beat Hangman. They all have the tag match against Learning Tree. He says, while Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly weren't successful, or himself weren't successful at All In, you know who was? Hook. How was it to win Hook at All In? And Hook says, yeah, it was pretty cool. So Mark says Ishii and Willow were successful as well. And that's when Willow challenges Statlander to a Chicago street fight at All Out. And then Mark tells Ishii to go whip some cowboy ass. And that match was next. Hangman Adam Page taking on Tomohiro Ishii. They beat the hell out of each other for like 15 minutes.
This is a good point. Heather's making in chat too. Says, thank the stars that Mox's New Japan music's back. Wild Thing sucked.
Yeah.
Wild Thing was perfect for that one match. And then
for one match.
Yeah, and then he really didn't need it after
I had a hard time whenever I heard it. I thought of Major League.
Yeah.
It was Rick Vaughn's entrance music in Major League.
Yeah, right. This Hangman Ishii match, my God, it went like 30 minutes almost. It was a really long match. They beat the living shit out of each other. It was a lot of fun in the end. Hangman gets the win with a buckshot lariat after a dead eye. But man, yeah, this was a really hard-hitting match. A lot of fun. Swerve's music hits. He comes down. Says, I should beat you into a bloody mess. This is kind of long, so I'm not going to read the entire thing. But he says, I should beat you into a bloody mess for you getting involved in my match this past Sunday. He says, but instead, I just wanted to tell you to your face, I feel sorry for you. You're the one who's become a petulant little child. With every tirade and tantrum that you throw, you get further from success, and I get closer to it. And half the time, Swerve is pissed, and half the time, he's just condescending and laughing in his face. He says, make no mistake about it, I may not have the championship gold around my waist, but I'll always be referred to as world champion, and this is always going to be whose house?
Swerve's
the
house.
crowd, that's right, the crowd says Swerve's house. He says, in regards to that, you failed.
Here, I'll be Hangman, okay?
All right, cool.
You listen to me. You're not a champion. You're not a world champion. You're not a champion of anything. You're a piece of shit. You broke into my home. You've wrestled me 3 times. You've never beat me on your own. The first time it took Nana. The second time it took Nana and Brian Cage. The third time you had 30 minutes, and you couldn't do it. You're not as good as me. You know what I want? I want to leave them out of it. I want just you, and I like this. What the fuck did I write here? I want just you, and
like this began.
And like this began, I want you on your knees. Sorry.
Something like that. Anyway,
there's some punctuation missing there that's messing me up.
Yeah. Anyways, long story short, Swerve says, fine, steel cage match. And he's like, he says this. He says, let's go back to Revolution. That morning, I drove 10 minutes up the road. I went to your house because it's a place I know very well. I parked out front. You know what I saw? I saw you escorting your pregnant wife down the stairs, bags packed, getting in the car, driving to the hospital, and you were going to become a father for the second time in your life. And that's when I realized that was the man Hangman Page is supposed to be. And that's when I also realized that I didn't need to be focused on you. I need to be focused on the world title, on being the best in the world by beating the best that AEW has to offer, and that's what I did. He says, but you're so focused on me. You can't even win the Owen. You can't win the Casino Gauntlet. You let your team down at Blood and Guts because all you do is focus on me. He says, I challenge you to remind me what cowboy shit was all about. And instead of trying to burn my world to the ground, your career is the one in flames. So once again, I ask you a question. In that cage, what kind of man are you going to be? Better yet, what kind of man are you going to show your kids you're going to be? And then instead of retorting, Hangman Page just drops the mic and he leaves.
Head down, sulking pretty much.
Yeah, man. Doesn't know what to say.
I know. Then we got Jamie Hayter taking on Harley Cameron. This is a relatively quick match. Jamie Hayter gets the win after some Haterade. And then Saraya, who accompanied Harley to the ringside area, gets in the ring to check on Harley. But then as soon as Jamie turns around and focuses on her, Saraya hides behind Harley and then pushes Harley towards Hayter so then she can flee through the crowd.
Jesus, Devin says Hangman Ishii went less than 17 minutes. Holy crap, felt like forever.
Yeah, I think the tag match was longer. The tag match got 2 commercial breaks.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't. After that, we had to learn.
You said you watched all Collision. You didn't say you watched all Collision at 2 times speed.
Yeah, Larry Tree interview after that. So this is fun. You know, man, poor Big Bill. You could tell Big Bill, he does everything he can to make something out of this.
Hell of a performance in that tag match last night, too.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Well, he was really fast, though, but I think that was because of fast forward. Anyways, so Renee wants to talk All In, asked Bill about his reaction in the UK. He says, as Chris always says, the opinions of the fans change like the leaves of the learning tree, and fall is right around the corner, so things are about to get colorful. And then Renee asked Jericho about losing the title. And he's like, after 127 days, the longest reigning FTW champ, the Wembley match was hard fought and Hook came out on top. Why? Because he finally took the advice of the learning tree. Hook, now you're a champ because of the lessons I taught you. Congratulations. And for some reason, Roderick Strong is with them. And he's like, Chris, look, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but it's an honor to be part of the Jericho Vortex, if only for one night. But he needs help. He says, I can't get Kyle away from Orange Cassidy. Orange is bad news. You know that. Jericho mentions that Orange still owes him $7,000 for that feud 3 years ago and the jacket thing. And he says, tonight we're going to take it out on you, Orange, on the conglomeration, on you, Hook. All 4 of you are going to pay the price. They all leave except for the bad apple, Brian Keith. And he just looks at Renee. Pay the damn price.
Then we got MJF coming to the ring for a promo. He's got the kinesiology tape all up and down his neck, walking gingerly. And he says he's in a lot of pain. He's got a huge headache. Says he has 2 herniated discs in his spine from the Tiger Driver, from Will Ospreay. He says, he asked the crowd, where were you all when I was defending the country and this company? None of you had my back. I hereby renounce my American citizenship. I'll no longer be associated with this garbage country. The only part of this place that matters is Plainview, Long Island, New York. Says, I also denounce all you fans who show me no respect. He accuses Ospreay of being a cheater. And says, now I'm going to talk about the worst of them all, a child that I tried to help but who wasn't intelligent enough to realize it. Daniel Garcia, you bum.
You bum.
If you ever show your face in my company again, I will end your life. Well, Daniel Garcia slides in and attacks MJF from behind. Starts pummeling with punches. Locks on a front guillotine and chokes out MJF. So he's looking for a pile driver. Drops him. Because he wants to do one from the second rope. So he puts MJF up on the top rope. Security comes down to break it all up. As Garcia takes out security, MJF comes to. He lays out Garcia. Eventually, Garcia turns the tables, looking for that pile driver off the second rope again. This time, Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, comes to the ring with more security. They break it up. MJF tumbles out of the ring. So Garcia has a promo, and he says, hey, you're looking for that Dynamite Diamond ring? I pawned it to pay for a trip to London to ruin the biggest moment of your life. You thought that was bad. You know what's bad? Your mother having to watch you get wheeled down in a stretcher. That's bad, Max. Ruining your life is all I can think about. It's my fetish.
Yeah, that was a good line.
And I talked to Tony Khan. It's you and me at All Out. And he says, listen, beating you in a match isn't good enough for me. I won't be fulfilled till I pick you up, drop you on your head, and break your neck. If there's anybody else on this planet that cares about you at all, they'll have to watch and suffer with you. This was a hell of a shot by Daniel Garcia. He takes the mic and then throws it, because MJF's up the ramp at this point.
He's up a ways.
And he throws the mic towards MJF, and MJF has to dodge so he doesn't get hit in the head with the mic.
Yeah, it was a good throw.
Hell of a throw by Daniel Garcia. Good promo, too.
This iteration of Garcia, what he's doing with MJF, you think it'll be enough to convince him to stick around AEW? What does your completely uninformed gut tell you?
I feel, I think we've seen,
because this is about keeping him with the company.
Yeah, and I think we've seen both in W and AEW that promises of winning titles and stuff, I don't think is, I'd imagine that maybe some people would be attracted to that as a reason to re-sign. I think being involved in good creative more than anything is what's going to get people to stay. And if the idea is, hey, Danny, we see you as a foundational piece for the future.
Yeah.
We're going to get you in the story with MJF. Maybe you guys will trade some wins, and we'll see what's next after that. You get a 2 pay-per-view feud with MJF. Maybe MJF has to really cheat to win the first one. Garcia gets the win back at the second pay-per-view match. Maybe at Grand Slam. I don't know. And they're both from New York. And see where things go from there. I mean, if they have 2 matches and MJF wins both of them, Daniel Garcia is going to chase you. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that I do kind of feel like it would have to be, you would think it would have to be a bit more involved beyond, because you can look at what they did with Ethan Page. Immediately he goes to NXT, he ain't gonna chase you, he's a champion. And I'm not saying that WWE can promise exactly that, but that's a pretty decent recruitment tool right there.
Yeah, it is.
And Tony you would think Daniel Garcia wouldn't re-sign unless he's like, okay, I kind of want to know what I'm going to be doing for the next year. So it wouldn't be trade a couple wins against, or, 1 win and 1 loss against MJF, and then we'll see what happens next, because Will C could easily be stuck on Rampage for 3 years.
Totally. Now, if it's a situation where you'll trade wins with MJF, and then we'll have you get into a program with Jack Perry for the TNT title. And you may not come out of the winning end of that, at least immediately, but if it's a situation where he's regularly contending for championships as opposed to wrestling matches on Rampage, it's something.
Yeah. You gotta think he'd be like, I need at least some sort of loose, roadmap.
Framework I want to be doing the next year. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You would think so. But I don't know how that shit works. Maybe it's just like, hey, I like the guy. He's giving me a bunch of money, so I'll stick around. And I have faith in Tony Khan. I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea.
I don't know.
But, yeah, anyways.
I don't know. Then we got a Ricochet video package. He's like, I've been waiting years to showcase what I can really do. Now I'm in AEW, I can do it. You didn't think he looked a little gassed during his match? Not like huge, but like by the end, he was breathing really hard.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't spring back up after the finish. What do you think of that finish that he's got?
You know, here's the thing. I don't know if he could do it anymore because he used to do this years ago. Maybe he'll bust this out for like huge matches, the pay-per-views. That double moonsault he used to do, fucking nuts.
How old is he now?
I don't know, mid-30s. He's still super athletic. Maybe he can do it like
no, he is.
now and then.
He is super athletic. He is.
If his whole thing is like preeminent high flyer in wrestling,
I don't think that's his thing anymore, though.
That's what commentary was saying.
He ain't that. You got Leo Rush, you got Hologram, you got the literally their name is Top Flight. You got Action and Andretti.
I understand. There's
some new kids in town that can fly a little bit higher than that guy.
I don't know, man. Ricochet's still up there.
No, he's still great. Don't get me wrong. But once you hit like mid-30s, dude, you're gonna cede that ground to the kids. You are. So call him creative, call him dynamic.
Out of this world, baby.
Out of this world.
His in-ring ability is out of this world.
It's out of this world.
I feel like Ricochet could do a really impressive shooting star press in his sleep. You know what I mean? We've seen him do that in WWE.
Yeah. No,
he gets crazy hiding that.
He can still do amazing things. He could do amazing things.
I wonder why he stopped doing the 630.
Probably because he got old.
I know.
Jeez,
it always looked fairly effortless for him anyways. Then we got Hook and the Conglomeration taking on Learning Tree and Roderick Strong. This had a weird finish where Roderick's looking for an end to Heartache. Hook escapes that, locks on Red Rum. And so, he gets Roddy down to the mat, grapevines him. And Aubrey, I think Aubrey does all of Jericho's matches. Is focusing so much on Roddy tapping out that she doesn't notice that Roderick's foot is on the bottom rope.
Mm-hmm.
Roddy taps, Hook gets the win. So Taven and Bennett hit the ring and lay into Hook. Roddy hits him with a running knee, while everybody else, Learning Tree and Conglomeration, brawl up the ramp. So I guess they're going to feud now. And then Roderick Strong picks up the FTW title, and the Kingdom put Roderick on their shoulders. So I guess he's coming for the FTW title now.
I guess so. I mean, I think if you're going to have Hook in something with somebody, a lot worse options than Roderick Strong, man.
That being said, I don't feel like Roderick Strong should be losing to Hook.
I don't disagree. But if you want to keep somebody from going to chase you do have them beat people like Roderick Strong.
I know.
I'm with you. Roderick Strong to me is a top 5 in-ring guy, period.
And I think in the right situation, he's a good character too.
Dude, I agree. I 1,000% agree. I think he probably would have been in a much different place if Adam Cole hadn't have busted his leg, because I think they had big plans for the Kingdom.
Yeah.
But with just Roderick, he's so good.
He is good.
God, his best stuff, his best character stuff with the Undisputed Era was so damn good.
He does comedy, like comedic heel, really well.
He really does, yeah.
So then we have Mercedes. She's having herself a party from winning it all in. So it's her, Camille. I couldn't tell who else was there. Anyways, private party, roll in. And Mark Quinn says, you can't have a party without private party, and gives Monet, says, hey, you're a fighting champion. I like that. And then Isaiah Cassidy, he shoots a shot. Says, I know you're single. Compliments her dress.
Well, a bit forward.
It says, he said it's red. It's the color of love. Yeah. I think that dress would look better on top of me, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
Much
too forward. What he said. Way too forward. I popped big for Okada showing up.
Well, first Camille steps in, and then Okada comes in.
Yeah.
And private party's like, because they took a shot before Isaiah Cassidy shot it shot his shot. And so they're like, hey, Okada, you want some of our booze? We got plenty. And then Monet says to Okada, how do you say bye, bitch, in Japanese? So he whispers in her ear, and she says, sayonara, bitches.
Yeah.
And so they leave, and she starts singing her song and doing the dance.
Yeah.
And Okada starts doing the dance, smiling. He's so happy.
And he says, dreams do come true. Man, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I am so happy that we get this version of Okada. At some point, he'll go back to being the Rainmaker, whatever. But God damn it, he's so funny. And there is still that sense of like, oh shit, Rainmaker.
He could turn it on at any moment. Yeah.
He'll fuck you up. Yeah. No, I love Okada. I think he's hilarious. I think he seems like clearly he's having a blast. And him and Mercedes look like, even if it's just on screen, pretty cool looking couple. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, after that we had, what did you think of this? Mariah May. This is going to be interesting because Mariah May's character and her success has been so deeply tied into the Toni Storm All About Eve story. Without that, it'll be interesting to see what if she's able to keep the crowd's attention.
Yeah. So in 2 or 3 promos she did after turning on Tony, it seemed very much like the cadence of her promos afterwards, whereas to kind of mimic and mock Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because she had a very stylized, like Tony does, cadence to her speech. And that wasn't there last night. And I thought her delivery was pretty good.
Mm-hmm, yeah, sure.
So I guess I don't remember if it was on social media or something like that, but she promised a much different celebration. I think she said she would have a nude celebration for winning the title. Yeah. I think that's what she said. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I thought I saw that. And so when I think the idea was, she comes out with the robe, and she takes the mic from Tony, says, "I'm the new champion, but I regret to inform you that my championship celebration has been postponed. I'm not doing it in this town. I know it's called champagne, but it should be renamed flat, stale, piss-warm beer, judging from some of the desperate, average-looking women in the audience, something you're used to shoving down your throats, amongst other things. What you desperately need is some glamour, and lucky for you, that's everything I am. In case you don't understand, I take my robe off now and show you exactly what I mean. Look now and never forget, this is your new AEW Women's World Champion, Mariah May." So she takes off the robe. She's got a dress on. She's got the title. Puts it back on real quick and says, "That's enough," and leaves.
Didn't want to give us too much.
Nope. So I don't know if this is going to be a thing from town to town where she's like, "Sorry, championship celebrations postponed. I'm not going to do it in this town."
Yeah. Oh, that could be. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
And then we had an interesting thing where Grizzled Young Veterans had 2 promos in a row.
They're back. They're back on Going in Raw, so I can
soon.
So we've got.
So the first was after.
Yes.
Was that All In? After
it was at All In. So they approached the Young Bucks. I'm Zach Gibson. This is James Drake. Oh no, I'm sorry. They're doing a promo and they're interrupted by the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Together we are Grizzled Young Veterans. They're interrupted by the Bucks. Matt says, "Hey, I like your style. You don't like FTR? We both have Young in our names." And Gibson says, "Let me make something very clear. We are not cut from the same cloth. We are not the same type of veterans as you two dweebs. This was a message for the FTR," he says.
Oh, hold on. I didn't make a correction. Mariah did not promise a new championship celebration. It was 2 titles, no bikini celebration.
Oh, man.
So, apologies for getting it wrong. I'm sorry.
"That was a message for the Acclaimed. That was a message for the entire AEW tag division, a division you two currently sit on top of. And know this, the Grizzled Young Veterans are here to stay in AEW, and we're coming for those titles." And then Drake says, "When you see the Grizzled Young Veterans coming, grit your teeth." And then they leave. And then the Young Bucks are like, "Oh, what a bunch of assholes." So they leave. And then the kid just cuts, and the Grizzled Young Veterans are just now at Dynamite, backstage in front of the monitor where their promo just ran, staring at the camera. And we get another promo.
Cue. Yeah.
And Gibson says, "We warned the FTR and showed that Grizzled Young Veterans aren't messing around. This Friday on Rampage." They're already on Rampage. "One unlucky team is going to find out firsthand exactly our intentions." Drake says, "For whoever that is, when you see the Grizzled Young Veterans coming, grit your teeth."
There was the lower third. They're taking on the Outrunners.
Yeah, they're taking on the Outrunners. I might actually have to watch Rampage now.
Then we got, this was cool. We got a video package about Takeshita and G1.
Yeah, that was cool.
Then he's on Rampage. Then he's on a match of Raw.
And he's on Rampage, yeah. Really loading up Rampage.
Then we got Ricochet taking on Kyle Fletcher. Ricochet gets the win here. Got that lifting reverse DDT for the finish.
Barely lifted him up. He was so gassed.
He wasn't that gassed, but he seemed a little gassed.
It wasn't. I mean, the finish is not the smoothest finish in the world. Kyle Fletcher's just really tall, though.
Yeah, he's 6'4", they say.
He's like super tall. Yeah. He's WWE sized.
He is. So then Will Ospreay's music hits. So he walks out to the stage with the mic. He puts the international title on the floor, and he's about to speak, and that's when Pac runs in, hits with a poison Rana.
That was rad.
Picks up the mic and says, William, do you want to do your Pac here?
William, no, I want you to do the Pac. That sounded great so far.
I can't do Pac.
William, let this be a warning to you. Don't you dare forget about the bastard. As for you, Ricochet, please allow me this opportunity to welcome you to the AEW. Welcome. Now get to the back of the line like everyone else. This one here, he belongs to me.
See, way better than I could do.
and then Ricochet comes up, and he's just the most tepid shit talk. Oh, are you talking to me? Were you talking to me just then? Hey, Ricochet, why are you bald?
Hey, Pac, why are you ugly?
Oh, man.
So then Mox is walking backstage. So they tried to do the NXT interviews where the cameraman asked the question, but it was just so loud. Yeah. Hey, Mox, what are you doing? And Mox says, shall not cast pearls before swine. It's a biblical reference.
There you go.
So I had to look it up. I just didn't know that. So there's a couple of dudes just sitting there talking, so he stops by him and says, maybe just one. You know what we could really use around here? And that's where Marina Shafir runs in and lays them out. Another security guard runs in. She takes him out, too. And like the security guard was like, ma'am, you can't do that around here. He's like, don't you know that's Marina Shafir? She works here.
Ma'am.
So another security guard runs in. He's like, nope. Runs off.
That was pretty funny.
And then Mox says, a lesson in humility.
He did say earlier during his promo, the Tony Schiavone one, that he's looking for some guys that could fight. So, Shane World Order. After that, we had Danielson.
Shane Underground, probably.
Shane Underground, yeah. Zondo says that guy tried to mansplain wrestling to her. Ma'am. Anyway, so we had Danielson addressing his future to the AEW universe next. He comes to the ring, and he's like, he says, I don't really want to do this anymore. He says, my daughter said, I guess sort of, quelling the fears of people that he psychologically scarred his daughter by getting kicked while saying, I love you, covered in blood. Anyways, he said it was the best day of her life. That's what she says. He says, but earlier in the day, she did go on a Peppa Pig double-decker tour bus. So that may have played a big role. But even before that, before she said it, I knew it. When I got to the back with my peers congratulating me, I knew it. It was my favorite moment of my career. But then I got asked the question at the press conference, what's next? He says, my contract with AEW already expired. I'm going to be needing neck surgery sooner rather than later. And my family is ready for me to come home. And then you hear one guy in the crowd say, no! He says, so I've had a lot of thinking to do since Sunday. When I first got to AEW, one of the first things I said was thank you to the people who started this place. If you're here in the building tonight, you probably agree with me. AEW is awesome. He says, I've loved pro wrestling my whole life, and the fact this place exists makes it better, made my life better. He says, I realized, he says, when I think about AEW, I think about all the people who are going to wrestle for AEW in the future. I realize it's probably time for me to go home, but not yet. I will not retire as AEW champion. I'm going to fight for this title as much as I possibly can. And as soon as I lose this, my full-time career is over. But that's not going to happen anytime soon because I still have a lot of heads to kick in. So in 2 weeks, all out, I get it. We got a young, hungry locker room back there, and I got a championship to defend. So anybody who wants a shot, come get it because AEW is here to be the best AEW champ. And I'm here to be the best AEW champ of all time. Let me pause here really quick.
Sure.
Do you think it's going to be as soon as Wrestle Dream?
Could be later.
I don't think it's going to be as soon as Wrestle. I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't have at least a 4-month run.
I think people assume Wrestle Dream because it's in Tacoma, the Seattle.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Do we know where Revolution is next year?
That's a good question. I don't know if they've announced that yet. Let me check.
I could see him going to Revolution. I mean, last year's Revolution was the Sting retirement match. That was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
So maybe that'd be the thing.
Yeah, I don't think they've announced where Revolution is.
All right. So any event.
Or maybe they wait. I don't know if they're going to go that long. That'd be kind of surprising if they wait till All in Texas. That's in July next year. That might be a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it all kind of depends on, like, does he actually need this surgery, like, now, you know?
Yeah.
Where was Revolution this past year? Was it in
the Greensboro, North Carolina? But it was because, Sting has such history in
Right. So in 2023,
so
that's when it was in San Francisco. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, if it ends up in the Pacific Northwest Revolution, I could see Revolution being the thing. That's a decent run. Might be too long. I don't know. Anyways, Jack Perry shows up on the Tron, sitting down. He says, Bryan, you don't know your future, but I know mine. Nobody wanted me back here. Nobody believed in me, including you. So I had to go ahead and create my own future. The future I knew I could have the day I got back here when I punched Tony Khan, took out Kenny Omega, won the TNT title, and buried Darby Allin in Wembley. Let's not forget, Bryan, the only time you and I stood across from each other in the ring after I was set on fire, I beat you. I'm going to do it again because my future is to retire you and become the world champion. And whether anyone likes it or not, my future and AEW's future are one and the same. Your future, Bryan, well, it's behind you. And then there was a second Jack Perry. What the fuck? He cloned himself.
He did.
My God. Sacagawea.
Bryan Danielson has no chance against two Jack Perrys.
No, it was just the idea was he had pre-recorded the Tron thing. He wasn't live.
No.
See, magic of cinema.
Well, the Tron wasn't live, but he was live there in the building and attacking him.
Right, exactly.
That wasn't pre-recorded.
That was not a pre-recorded hologram. No. Because he hit Bryan with a running knee. And then he closed the show holding up both those titles.
Yep. I guess we should talk NXT now. We got our go home for No Mercy on Tuesday.
No Mercy.
No Mercy.
Do you want to do this in the form of, let's do our No Mercy predictions. We
could do No Mercy predictions and talk about the show within that context.
That sounds good. No Mercy NXT.
Let's go to the Wikipedia because they'll have the card.
So
let's start with this one. Roxanne Perez versus Jada Parker. So there was an interview that Jada had that Roxanne interrupted.
Yep.
Jada laid her out, and after laying out Roxanne, noticed somebody off camera and says, "Oh, I've heard about you.
Yeah.
You can get some too." Probably Julia, because she wrapped up her time in Marigold.
Oh, recently. You don't think it was wasn't that before the Rosemary thing? I thought it was the Rosemary thing. Or I figured maybe they were talking about Rosemary.
No, I didn't think it was Rosemary. I assumed it was whoever's going to confront Roxanne after she beats Jada Parker at No Mercy. So it was either Julia or Stephanie Vacour.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how I took it.
I just figured Rosemary's not from there, so they were like, oh, hey, what are you doing here?
But yeah, Roxanne Perez is going to win. Let's see. There's 6 matches.
Let's talk about that interview really quick. The one thing that stood out to me, Roxanne Perez is a terrific in-ring performer. She's so good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Jada Parker, in that interview, comes off as so overwhelmingly genuine.
Yep.
Roxanne always, to me, comes off like she's acting. She just does. And that's just how, I feel about it. But Jada, if she, I've only seen, dude, that honestly, the street fight she had, or the last one, whatever it was, with Mi Chin, really I thought she carried her own. She was awesome. Yeah. I think Jada is going to be big. I think she's going to be really big.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, the amount, like, her promos, her talking, her interviews, they all come off as so good. I think she's going to be huge. She's not going to beat Roxanne, obviously. No. But I think she's going to be so good.
I'd probably put 4 confidence points on Roxanne winning this match.
We got 6 matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put it, whatever. It'd be 6, 5, whatever.
Then we got Kalani Jordan taking on Wendy Chu. So Wendy Chu brought Rosemary into NXT to take on Kalani. Kalani got the win. But then there was like some creepy music. Wendy Chu laughing coming in through the speakers. Lights came down to kind of freak out Kalani to close the show.
It was awesome to see Rosemary. I did not expect that. I thought that was really, really cool. Great to see her there on NXT. And I love how this NXT TNA thing is working out. I have not seen a lick of TNA since then, but like I think it's really cool to see that kind of stuff on NXT TV.
Yeah. Kalani
But
goes
yeah,
over
Kalani's gonna totally win this.
5
match.
confidence points.
Oh wow, as many as 5. I mean, dude, like, okay, hold on a second. Ethan Page,
He'll beat
Oba
Joe Henry.
Femi, Kalani
6
Jordan,
confidence points. Oba
and
Femi's not
Roxanne
losing
Perez. My point is, there's 4 matches that are foregone conclusions.
Yeah.
There's 2 that are like, okay, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, they could go either way. Let's talk about Oba Femi. He's taking on Tony D'Angelo for that North American title. So early in the show, Tony D'Angelo was backstage with the family, and a couple dudes that we hadn't seen before, I don't think, come in and try to talk to him. He's like, "Not now. I gotta deal with this."
These guys are such great character actors.
Yeah.
I'm like, keep these guys around.
I know.
Because they're obviously not wrestlers. They're like supposed to be Tony D's muscle, but they're not big buff dudes. They look like legitimate like Sopranos muscles. You know?
Exactly. So then there was a 6-person mixed tag match. It was it was Luca, it was Stax, it was Rizzo against No Quarter Catch Crew. Those same 2 dudes come out and talk to Tony like, "Hey, there's something you got to address right now." So they all leave. And so we come to find out that Oba Femi has taken Tony's favorite room at his favorite restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have a bit of a back and forth. Oba Femi's going over 6 confidence points. Oba Femi's not losing anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have 4 on him just because, like, I don't know. Again, foregone conclusions, but when I look at it, Ethan Page ain't losing to a TNA superstar, even if Joe Hendry is the main character of NXT these days.
Yeah, Joe Hendry stood tall on the go home math favors Ethan Page. Let's talk about that right now. Trick Williams was announced as the special guest referee. But also, Trick has a match against Pete Dunne on the following week's NXT, next week's NXT. It's entirely possible that Pete Dunne gets involved here to take Trick out. We're going to have NXT ref count the pinfall here, probably. Ethan Page is going over. Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome if they had a TNA ref come down, tries to count, and so you get like wasn't it Nick Patrick and like... Didn't they have like a WCW ref versus a WWF ref at one point?
Yeah, I don't remember who the
wasn't
WWE ref was.
Was it Little Nate? Who was it?
It wouldn't surprise me if it was Little Nate. Little Nate could wrestle.
Yeah, but wait, he was also a WCW ref, so
That's
maybe
right.
that wouldn't make any sense. I don't know.
Mike Chioda?
Maybe.
Well, let's talk about the 2 matches that could go either way. So we have Chase U defending the tag titles against Frazier and Axiom. So they had a backstage segment in the Chase U classroom.
Oh, it was Hebner. Okay, it was
All
Hebner.
Right. So I'm going to paraphrase here. Rich said something along the lines of, "So long as Andre and I are tag champs, I'll always have Chase U's back." Important caveat there. And then Frazier and Axiom come in. Frazier says, "I understand the pride you have in Chase U. I felt it when I think he was the honorary flag bearer," he said, for one of their matches. "I get it. Axiom and I faced off against each other. We realized we're better as partners as opposed to competitors. We're getting those titles back." This one I don't know. Duke still seems a little put off that he wasn't the one to bring gold to Chase U. Ridge with that caveat there. So, like, whenever they lose the tag titles, whether it's here or down the line, Ridge is turning on Chase U.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's going to happen after 2 or 3 weeks after they won the tag titles.
I doubt it. I feel like there needs to be more success for the fall to make sense. When was the last NXT Premium Live event? It was the one where it was the Fatal 4-Way, wasn't it?
SummerSlam weekend, wasn't it?
Is that where Ethan Page won the title? I'm trying to think because you'd think that there might be one title change here. It's a Premium Live event.
Maybe. I don't think it's a certainty, though.
It ain't going to be Oba Femi. It's not going to be Roxanne Perez. Maybe Wendy Chu would be Kalani Jordan.
I'd be pretty surprised by that.
I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I'd probably just have 1 confidence point on Chase U winning this.
I would as well. I agree. That's what I would be. Let's talk about Wesley versus Zachary Wentz.
So, Wesley's
Wesley
thesis is
really
I'm on a
burying
different level.
TNA.
Yeah, I'm on a different level than you. I'm a WWE superstar. You're a TNA wrestler.
Yeah. And he says it's just so shitty.
He does. And Zachary Wentz is like, yeah, I messed up. We had to vacate the tag titles. But I was there for you when you hurt your back. I was bringing you food, driving you around, and I was your brother, and you do this to me. You turn on me. Like all that stuff, in terms of the outcome of the match, that just provides some emotional heft. But I think it comes down to this could be a real litmus test in terms of how WWE and NXT approach this TNA partnership. Because if Wesley goes out there and buries TNA and then wins,
I think the thing they have to do here to address that, Wesley's got to cheat.
yeah, Wesley will have to cheat if he wins.
He's got to cheat. If he cheats, then his thesis is done with. Then he's not better than them.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have a TNA guy win on a premium live event like this, in this way.
Yeah, probably not. I'll probably go West with 2, but
yeah, it's a 2 confidence. Yeah, that's what it is because of that. But it's low confidence. And I think look, if it was, I say sack up and have Zachary Wentz win, but I don't think they're going to do that.
probably not.
The point is like Wesley's got to, climb the ladder in NXT, but he's got to cheat to win.
Yep, because he's a heel now.
Because he's a bad guy.
Yep. Let's see if there's anything else just offhand from NXT that stands out. Story-wise.
They're still doing the Eddie Thorpe as a DJ thing.
Yeah, but Ashanti was pretty funny in that bit.
Yeah, he's good. He's always good. We had
So
Carmen Petrovic versus Izzy Dame.
Javon Evans lost to Joe Coffey. I did like Javon Evans backstage doing the Shawn Michaels strut.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was pretty funny.
Joe Coffey.
Yeah.
You can't beat Joe Coffey, Javon Evans. I'll be good today. What'd you think of the Joe Hendry concert with his little song?
It's fine.
There's been funnier ones that he's done. Yeah, I thought it was all right. Somebody here in chat who said this. Clown says Pete Dunne snaps Trick Williams' hand so he can't count. He can't do the count.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Interesting. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Anyways.
Hey, before we get to questions,
yeah,
we haven't made our pitch. People
wow.
watching the show here on YouTube, and that is engagement. We would like you to engage with our content. By that I mean leave comments.
Yes, please.
Hit the like button. That's good for our videos and our channel and the whole YouTube algorithm. So in the comments you want, hey, make your picks for No Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
What is Mox cooking up here? Does this mean Shane's coming in? What do you think? Post what you think in the comments, please.
What should the name be for this Shane World Order if it's not going to be the SWO? Well, I want the people to drop their comments.
I thought you were asking me.
I want the people to drop their comments. But if you have one, too.
I got nothing.
The MWO, the McMahon World Order.
My Monet Talks was my clever thing for the day, so I'm done.
You're good for the day. Your good deed for the day. Good job. Good. Well, that leads us to answering questions.
Let's
Larson,
do it.
Why don't we go ahead and answer some questions?
Creamy Beef Tips says, do you think Ricochet will continue to get lost in the shuffle now that he's in AEW? Not immediately. He'll be put in positions where he can put on good matches. I mean, he's going to have a feud with Ospreay at some point. So,
where is he going to be? What is Ricochet's match going to be at All In Texas? Will he get on the card?
Casino Gauntlet match.
Again? Will he win it? Wow.
Cameron Bortolazzo says, since Netflix is doing documentary styles and all the major sports following players through the season, that I really am excited for the NBA one.
I cannot wait. I mean, dude, Twitter is going to be just blown up with memes from that. I can't wait.
Great. It's going to be great. Cameron asks, which 5 wrestlers would you like them to follow throughout a year? It can be from any company.
Jey Uso.
Good.
Because that dude is, every time I see clips of him from like the Total Diva stuff, it's hilarious. So I want Jay. I think Sammy would be interesting.
Yeah, I think Sam would be interesting. I want to see somebody that's gone from WWE to AEW and vice versa in this thing. So like Ricochet.
Okay.
You know, the process of changing companies, adapting to new scenery. You know, plus Samantha Irvin, I think his fiance. I don't think they're married yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Still working with WWE. Does that create any issues? I think there's some interesting stories there.
Yeah.
Who's someone from Ethan Page? Someone who's gone from AEW to WWE system, but he's in NXT.
Does he still vlog? I feel like you can get that info.
I don't know if he still
just
vlogs
from his YouTube vlog. Matt Cardona is an interesting one. That's a good one.
I think Matt Cardona would be a good name.
That would be interesting. John and Alistair voice says, Steve, what would a feud between Theory and Garcia sound like? Like if you close your eyes, you wouldn't know which one's which. Hey, dog.
Wait, no, they don't sound alike.
They both sound like Mark Wahlberg. DJE says, what do you guys think about the possibility about possibly allowing Ren Sinclair to defend the Heritage Cup under the catch clause?
I think that'd be great. She's been doing awesome work since she's
awesome. Yeah, she's great.
Story. Yeah, she's great.
I like her, yeah.
Nate Cruz says, if you give the McGriddle treatment to any other kind of bread, what would you choose?
Whoa. Oh, wow.
So would that mean any bun would instantly be a pancake with little syrup pods in there?
The moon's over my hammy.
That's a good call.
You could do that. You could just get like, the all-you-can-eat pancakes or just even the 2 pancakes.
And just put the contents of the moon's over my hammy between the pancakes. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you got one of them defibrillators, them portable defibrillators around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jimmy Thomas says, with Takeshita returning, what should he do this year? Win the C2, the TNT title, the AEW title? Sadly, I don't think any of those things are going to happen. But
I could see. I don't know, man. A mid-card title. I could see him getting the international.
I think. Well, that wasn't listed here, but I was going to say one of the other mid-card titles. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. FTW title.
FTW title, yeah.
For the Wrestle Kingdom title.
Joe here says, I want to see the Swerve Hangman feud be one where no matter what, Hangman keeps losing, going further off the deep end to the point he does something way more drastic than what Swerve did when he broke into Paige's house. There's not a question there. Sorry.
Odd Breakfast. Yeah, this is the question threads, people. Questions. Odd Breakfast says, if you're going to sneak up behind someone to attack them, what move would you hit him with in the world of wrestling, not in real life? In real life, it'd just be a beer bottle to the back of the head. But in wrestling, you know what? Same thing. Beer bottle to the back of the head.
Low blow.
Oh, yeah. A low blow from behind. Your forearm just, up the crack.
You got it.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanasis Valkyria.
Great name.
Says, hello, friendos. Did not expect Perry and AEW to turn the fallout with Punk into what they have. No way, he beats Danielson all out, but do you guys see world champion as attainable with the scapegoat gimmick? I think if he continues to improve, like as a wrestler, yeah, he's at that level, I think. It's all about the character work. If the character work is good and he gets involved in some good, meaty stories,
and it evolves. If it evolves, yeah, I don't
see any reason why not.
It's just there's so much good talent there, so I don't know. Within 5 years, maybe. It's gonna take a while, though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't rule it out. There's some people I'd probably rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out with him.
Like Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, who would I rule it out? No, that's the name.
Sammy Guevara.
You're on fire today, man. Look at you. That bit with Ricochet, you were like, it was good.
Dude hasn't wrestled for 2 months, Like, I know you could train and prep and stuff, but getting in the ring and actually wrestling for 15 minutes?
Ariana in our YouTube chat says Ricochet hasn't had a match that intense in years. They were both blown up at the end. Yeah, man, that was a lot. That was a lot to ask of a guy. He was very happy to be there, you know. And yeah, he's just getting all that out.
I didn't want to say anything about it, but then you put me on the spot. So,
Oh, dude, look, we got to keep it honest around here. We got to keep it honest. There's
I'd be
something
blown up
funny
in 30 seconds if you put me in a wrestling
Oh,
ring
I'd
and
be
tried to
blown
have
up
me
by
do
the time
most
I got to the bottom of the ramp.
basic of holds.
Yeah.
I'd be so blown up.
Absolutely. No, the dude's a S-tier in-ring guy.
No,
Don't
he
get me
is.
wrong.
He's a phenomenal athlete.
I'm looking forward to his shit. I am.
I want to see that double moonsault.
I used to look forward to the same match in WWE. He did a lot of the same stuff. They were just a lot shorter and, sometimes on Twitter. Dave Matushek says, with Mercedes Mone noticing crowd fatigue last night, what should promoters and wrestlers do to entice the crowd to stay awake? Pumping oxygen into the place? Can you do that? Loud noises?
I mean, shorter card?
Yeah.
I'm not saying 5 or 6, but maybe 9's too many. Maybe seven's kind of the
perfect.
sweet spot.
I'll be honest, even WWE should go up to 7.
And I think True World Order has it, less Jericho. Yeah, that's part of it too. It's part of it's how you sequence the card. We have the Jericho match and then the tag title match, 2 matches that don't have a lot of heat back to back.
You know what? If they
the idea is
really
just get them out of the way, but
no, here's what you do. Jericho's your pre-show guy. He's the kickoff. You could turn into a gimmick for the learning tree. He's like, oh, I'm going to teach a lesson about the importance of being on the kickoff show. You put him on the kickoff show, everybody wins. Live crowd, if they like Jericho, they can see it. People who like Jericho, they can see it. We don't have to watch it because we don't watch the kickoff.
Everybody else don't have to watch it.
Yeah, right. It's good stuff. It's good. Let's see here. AJ says, as a super casual AEW watcher, why do they overrun so often? And should I just always record the show after? Yeah, I gotta change my shit because I always have to watch the finish on AEW. On
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing about AEW is whatever the final segment is, usually they'll have it on YouTube so you can watch the overrun if you missed anything.
Jonathan's got a great idea in order to keep people alive, staying up. Nitro Girls, the Dynamite Girls. Here's the Nitro Girls.
Maybe AEW
Kimberly
has to have their own character that's a DJ.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. EDM.
And then they'll do a set during the show.
Some dubstep, perhaps.
Rather than having Fozzy perform.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Here we go. Javier, who didn't fill out his predictions, said never going to happen, but if WWE 2K24 had an AEW DLC pack, which 5 wrestlers do you pick?
Kenny.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Okada.
Yep. Hangman.
Yeah.
Tyler Warden, do you think Ricochet will be booked better from a character perspective in AEW? Here's the thing. It's all going to be up to him.
It is.
So I don't know. I hope that he's able to, if he had ideas, there were some times in WWE was like, oh, what is that he's doing? And then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get to run with it.
Yeah, maybe. That's all the questions I got. Otherwise stuff we covered on the show.
Elemental Giant asks, is Cody, Gunta, and Bryan the best trio of North American men's champions ever? That's a tough one because
I mean, in terms of in-ring, no. Gunther's great. Bryan's great. Cody's a decent, in-ring competitor. He's a storyteller more than he is. What? I'm not saying he sucks. He's not to the same level as Bryan and Gunther.
I'm saying at the same time,
yeah,
3 world champions
that could all really go. Yeah. Now, if Seth was WWE champion instead of Cody, I'd be like, yeah, then you have 3 wrestlers who are
man, Cody
phenomenal.
is every bit the wrestler as Seth. Get out of here with that. We need to see Seth with the handcuffs off, man. I feel like that dude's been WWE so long. If he tried to do what he wanted to do, he'd be gassed within moments.
I feel like his knees are not in the shape to do half the stuff.
This ain't 2014 anymore. No. Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm trying to think of a time when there were 3 world champions at the same time that could all go.
Top 5 wrestlers. Yeah.
When was AJ champion of freaking TNA? You know what I mean? Who were the 2 champions? Was it Del Rio and Punk or something like that? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Well, hold on a second. Okay, when Punk and Bryan were both champion, who was TNA champion?
I don't know. It was what, 2011?
Hold on a second. CM Punk. 20. Okay, yeah. List of TNA champions.
Well, that'd have been 2012.
When was that picture taken? You know, when there was like
Yeah. I think that was 2012.
2012?
I think.
Okay, hold on. These are the champions in TNA in 2012. Okay, so never mind. Okay, well, I don't know. Bobby Roode was champion from October of 2011 until July of 2012, at which point Austin Aries won it. To his credit, Austin Aries was actually really good in the ring. He was.
Yeah.
He was a really good wrestler in the ring.
So WrestleMania 2012 is when Daniel Bryan lost to Sheamus in 18 seconds and Punk faced Jericho. So late 2011, or first quarter of 2012.
Okay, so depending on when that... So Kurt Angle was champion between August and October of 2011.
Okay.
So it's possible. Did Bryan win that title at SummerSlam?
No, he cashed in Money in the Bank, I think, to get that title.
At Money in the Bank?
Is that when he cashed it in on, or was that earlier he did that?
That's
when he was world heavy. That's when he was world heavyweight champion.
Hold on, I'm gonna find out. Yeah, when he was world heavyweight champion.
So Okada was champion in New Japan. Won it in February of 2012. So I mean, he had Okada, Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk as world champions. Cashed into TLC. Thank you, Die Hard.
Okay, TLC, December. Wait, is this the right one?
December of 2011.
December. Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, December 2011. Cashed in on Big Show.
December of 2011, he cashed in. All right, so it was December of 2011. It was Bobby Roode.
I mean, if you got Okada's champ in New Japan, you got Punk, and you got Bryan Danielson. It's pretty good.
It's probably a better crew than we got now. But still, Cody, 5-star machine, that guy. He literally had a 5-star match with AJ Styles.
I'm aware. One match does not make one a 5-star match machine, Steve.
Oh, sure it does.
Like you say, Will Ospreay, 5-star match machine. All right. He's got a couple dozen. Cody has but one.
Well, there you go. Anyway, here we go. Mike Fontenot says, Taz, Hogan, and Austin in 98. Bryn Banco says, does this matter? Fuck no, but we're an hour and 30 minutes into the show. We're basically done. So does it matter that we're looking this up? No, it doesn't. At all. No. So that's going to do it for the show, though, because we found what we wanted to find. Oh, look at this. Fightful says another talent re-signs with WWE. Oh, that's interesting. Nikki Cross.
I saw that earlier, too.
Nikki Cross. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it.